Right, so let's look at adding these windows now. I'll have a quick look at our survey. So all the windows are the same size. They are all 2 meters long. Okay, and how they're shown, again, this is kind of a standard. You could add more detail if you had more detail. In this case, we just want to show a window. So it's going to be a rectangle, and then we'll have just these 3 narrow lines in the middle, kind of representing a pane of glass. The main thing is the width is 2 meters, and it's the kind of thickness of the wall. So we can easily do that with a block, and we'll create the first one in the correct place, which is 900 off this corner. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a rectangle. I'm just going to draw it out here just to make it easier for us, and I'm going to do this 2000 tab 300. 300 was the thickness of our wall. Okay, I can then move this, right click, select that as a base point and put it in that corner. And then I'm going to go move again, select that object, right click, with ortho on, so it only moves, which is F8, remember, we don't want it moving down here. We can have ortho on, we can just drag it somewhere out in this direction and type in 900. And now that is in the correct place. I just want to add that extra bit of detail, which was just a line from the middle. Okay, and then for the next one, I'm just going to offset it, and let's offset it 50. I think will look okay. 50 either side. And there we go, and that is our window. Now we're not worrying about colours and things yet. We'll do that later on. The main thing is we wanted this block. Okay, so again, we'll go insert, and we will say create block. And what are we going to call this? Well, probably guessed window. Pick point. I think we'll use that as our base point. Either of these corners would do. We're going to go with that one. Select objects. I can just window select all those and right click and click OK. And now we've got a window block. So let's look at setting these out. The next one is going to be 3600. Okay. So there's a few ways you could set these out. Probably the easiest one is to do some construction lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from there, and I'm going to just extend it out. Again, don't worry about the length of it. It is just, construction lines are temporary lines just to help you lay things out. Okay, and I'm going to do, so I'm going to offset, sorry, I'm going to move that one. So I'm going to create a construction line just off this end here. Now construction lines are temporary lines just to help you set things out. So don't worry about the length of it, just a random line up in that direction. And then if we check this distance, the next one is 3600 away. So I'm going to offset 3600. Okay, and I'm going to offset that side. Now you can copy this block, right click, use that as a base point, and put it there. And there you go, you've placed your window. You could do that again further down. The next one is 4100. Another way you could do that is you could copy it and type in the dimension, but bear in mind when you're copying, you need to remember to, so let's say we were going to copy this and we were going to use this as a base point. We can't just type in 4100, because if we're using this as a base point, it will drop that base point there and our window will be in this position. So if we use this as a base point, we would have to copy it 4100 plus 2000, so it ended there. Okay, so it would be 6100, and I'll demonstrate that now. So we could say copy, select that object, right click, use this as our base point, move our cursor in this direction and type in 6100, and And that would give us, if we measure that, that would give us our 4100. Hopefully that made sense. Rewatch that bit if it didn't. Sometimes, to be honest, just drawing lines and offsetting them and deleting them can be the easiest way. There's no right or wrong with CAD. There's lots of different ways to achieve the same result. So it's entirely up to you whether you do the copy or you just offset the gap like that and use that geometry. Use those construction lines and then get rid of them. I do that a lot. Sometimes when you're off in a world of your own, creating lots of things, you don't want to be doing calculations and bringing in errors. You just want to be listening to your music and drawing away, that kind of thing. So I do that, use the lines and then delete them. And we can see down here our windows, the dimensions between our windows. Most buildings are created symmetrical, otherwise they just don't look right. So our windows are spaced at exactly the same distances. So this block we can just mirror, okay? So we can select all 4 blocks, go to mirror, we've got AO snaps on, we can go to the midpoint, just create that mirror point there, and then right click, and we've got our windows in. And that's it. So now we've added all our windows. And they are all set as blocks. Simple. So already we're really getting there now. This door looks a bit strange. I wouldn't like to be walking out of this office if someone came in the main entrance, but that's the way our survey is. We're just going to leave it there. Okay, I won't worry about it. It is just an example. If it was actually designing a building, I would probably change that. In this case, let's not worry. So we have our building. We can get in each room, and we can see out the window. And remember, at the end of each of these, click Save, because AutoCAD can crash. It's not immune to crashing, so save your work, and I'll see you in the next chapter.